Jessamine for the Warhawk touchdown.
Let's get this clear. I've been trying to get it off. My name is Jaden Malik Jessamine. Jaden Jessamine. Everybody calls me Bridgeport because I'm from Bridgeport. It was a nickname given to me back in 4th grade on the Hartford Hurricanes. But, you know, I just want to make this publicly known that I would love it for everybody to call me Jaden Jessamine. That's my name, and that's what I go by.
Like I told him, it's going to be your time to shine soon. He wants it every single play, but when it's his time, he really puts in all the effort.
Today, this win is good, but, you know, we've been going to the state championship and losing, and all we care about is week 13, December 10th.
There's always pressure going 1-0 every week, so you got to keep building every week, keep working. You can't take a week off, no matter the opponent. We kept working and showed on the field tonight. We're definitely happy with making playoffs, getting the #1 seed. Going for it, we're going to treat it like every other week, you know, keep pushing, work hard, and just never treat an opponent lightly. We learned all year that any game could be a game. Keep pushing.
It's never easy. These kids start grinding it out in the winter of last year, all through the spring, the passing leagues, the camps. These kids have been going at it, and I just love them to death. I tell them every day how much I love them. I buy them gifts because I love them, and they just come out here and play, and it's why I do it. I think it's why we all do it. These kids are just so awesome. Look, there's a ton of tough teams in the playoffs, and we don't know who's going to make it. I think we'll all figure it out Thursday night. You got Walter, you got Notre Dame, West Haven, you got
forget about Burrow, not Notre Dame.
You got a lot of tough teams in that bracket, and we'll see what happens. Hartford Public, they're playing good ball. We'll watch and we'll see, but there's a lot of football left to be played.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Meat Grinder, your weekly dose of high school football in Connecticut. And I'm your host, Sean Patrick Bully. With me, as always, is Pete McGuaga. Pete, what's up?
It's so nice to be talking about football after this past weekend.
Oh, yeah, Pete was up at the soccer all day. He was playing the other type of football, the European football.
Football.
The World Cup.
Football.
Football, F-U-T-B-O-L, over at the Hartford stadium there.
Trinity
Big
Health
weekend for you,
Stadium.
Pete.
Yeah, very long weekend. I wasn't around for the fall championships last year. I was at the Islanders opener at the UBS Arena last year. So this is I think I saw 8 soccer games on this weekend. So that's 9 soccer games in the last 2 years I've been to. So it was a lot.
I did actually get to see a little bit of football. You're at the top of the show. You heard a little bit from Berlin completing their 10-0 regular season. Lorenzo Mille and Coach A on the call there, talking about their prospects in Class M. They're excited to get started. They defeated Middletown 35-21. And then you also heard a little bit from Jaden Jessamine. Don't call him Bridgeport, from Bloomfield with the 16-12 victory over Windsor. They knocked them out. He scored 2 touchdowns, and he had a message for everybody. Don't call me Bridgeport. It's Jaden. And I, for one, will be adhering to that he was angry. Just a great couple games there. You know, lots going on, lots of playoffs to get to. We're having the hybrid here. So don't touch that dial. We're having a hybrid. We're going to go through the playoff points today. We're going to take a quick look at the top 10, which is just ridiculous. And then we're just going to jump right into picks. We got a lot of games to pick. It's Petey Pageviews Pick a Podcast, Meat Grinder, Mano a Mano, getting all meshed together. So I'm excited. Let's get this thing rolling here, Pete.
It's a crossover episode.
Yes.
I love crossover episodes.
They're so awesome. So let's just start at the top. You know, the top 10 poll has just dropped, and every single time, guys, our voters have just completely been sleeping. Every week they sleep, they wake up. Oh, wait a minute, I should have voted West Haven #1. And then sure enough, we get a couple of turncoats from last week. We got a Southington voter change. We got a Maloney voter change. Next thing you know, we have West Haven's #1 going into Thanksgiving. I'm sure Fairfield Prep loves to hear it. So does West Haven going into that Wednesday night game. But I don't know, Pete. I'm kind of throwing my hands up with the top 10 voters this year. Guys, wake up. You know, where were you last week? Now I got to change it. Southington sitting there going like, what about us? Wait, you just switched us? We didn't even play. Neither did West Haven. I don't know. It's just, what are you going to do?
It's absurd. I mean, it's very reactive. I guess maybe Hamden West Haven was played too late on a Saturday for many people to pay attention to the scores, though Mike Fornabayo does an amazing job of getting the scores out to our voters. So I don't know what gives. It's disappointing is what it honestly is just very disappointing.
It's at the end, as the coaches always say, it's at the end of the year that we really should care about this stuff.
Yeah. Our voters have done a good enough job to make people not care about the poll.
Thanks a lot, guys. Number 1, West Haven. Number 2, Southington. Number 3, Greenwich. Number 4, Maloney. Not much of a change there except at the top. Then it's just St. Joseph, New Canaan, Hamden, Ansonia, Staples, and number 10, Newtown. That's no real big change. I guess Killingly somewhere down there still is ahead of Wyndham or something. But, again, it's just a wacky top 10 poll. Take it for what it's worth. But what we're really here for right now is to find out who is in and who is out of the state playoffs. It is the greatest, well, at least now it is, but it's the greatest week of the Connecticut sports calendar. Thanksgiving Day football in Connecticut is just amazing. As much as the CIAC has watered down, not just the playoffs, but now everybody's getting in. And we're only going to have a few spots available on Thursday morning. So the intrigue is kind of all sucked out of it. We've complained about it all year. And it's just, it's just anticlimactic. Now, it helps me a little bit, and Mike Fornabaugh and you. We don't have to do as much work trying to figure out the playoff points. But, there are some wacky things going on this year with 6 divisions. That's another thing. Yeah, like we feared, we said it at the beginning of the season, there were going to be some strong divisions, and there were going to be some really weak divisions. Right now, the really strong division is Class SS. You might not even get in Valley Regional at 9-1 if everything goes against you. That's ridiculous. Yep. Meanwhile, over in Class M, we have teams that are under 500 in this going into this week that are fighting for playoff spots. So, this does not work anymore. Nope. So, and I've mentioned a million times, I hate to belabor the point, but it's just, we got to figure out something else.
Because it's just crazy how, like for Valley Regional, because of the forfeits and everything going on with Hartford Public, who amazingly went 2-1 in the same day this weekend.
I think, as Ned pointed out, they might have been the first team to ever go 2-1 in one day.
In one day. Just crazy. And like, it kind of sucks because, for Valley Regional, you're the coaching staff there. You're like, hey guys, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. Everything's laid out in front of us. And it's this super secret formula. I mean, it's more of a secret formula than Captain America's super serum. It's so, and people are trying to figure it out, and we have it, and Valley Regional knows what they have to do. And now it changes because a game from week 1 is deemed ineligible. Now, whether it was self-reported or, we don't know really the behind the things, but it's kind of crap. Like, I'd be pissed if I was Valley Regional. And like, I loved the Rocky Hill coach's quote to you in your story, Rich Dance. I think that was a great quote where he was like, this happened to us. Like, people forget that was it 2014?
Yeah.
With Berlin, like, we were the ones that got screwed out of this. So like, they should not feel bad. I'm not saying that. It's just, you go from one more game being like, hey, even if we, maybe the coaches aren't saying it to the players, but they're in their head like, hey, maybe if we don't really have our best against Haddam Killingworth, we still have a chance to go. And now it's like, within a day, it's win or get in, and you might not even get in if you win because, all these other things are in play. It's just such a convoluted system, and I would be livid if I was Valley Regional.
I wrote a column going into this week saying like, please, let's eliminate the math. Let's create some meaningful divisions where you win a division and then you go. Like, let's put it all, the onus on the field. Your performance, you win, you go. That should be it. Yeah. No more math. This isn't college. This was great. This formula was great when there was 12, 13, 14 leagues and nobody played anybody. Well, it was fine then. But now it's just Everybody plays it. We can get together as a state and figure it out how we can do this right. But
I'm just saying, I don't know what kind of college you went to. There was very limited math when I went to college. But I know now in schools, if you have to do homework, you have to do math homework, you have to show your work, right? You have to write out your work. How did we get here? Well, CIAC, show me your work. Let's see this actual formula that we don't have to try and figure out on our own.
Yeah,
I hate it.
The CIAC they won't say much, but they will say that this will all work itself out as it normally does, and it does. But there, the idea that one of the divisions has teams that are one loss in danger and teams in another division that are under 500, going to this week. Something's wrong there. We knew that was going to happen. So anyway, again, we could go on and on, but here is the situation going into Thanksgiving week. In Class Double L, you have 8 of 8. It's already filled up, which is unprecedented. Greenwich and West Haven, they have the home games already clinched. In Class L, you have 5 of 8 teams are in. St. Joseph, Naugatuck, Newtown, New Canaan, and Maloney. St. Joseph has already clinched a home game. And Class Double M, 5 of 8 have clinched. SMSA is the only one who's got a home game. Northwest United, Killingly, Wethersfield, Thames River are all in. Class M, 6 of 8. Berlin has the home game. Law, ATI, Rockville, Notre Dame, West Haven, and Ram are the other teams that have unofficially clinched. Class Double S, just 4 of 8 right now. 4 in Wyndham, Cromwell, Portland, and Granby, Canton. And then you have 7 in Class S. There's only 1 spot remaining. Ansonia, Holy Cross, Woodland, Bloomfield, New Fairfield, East Catholic, and Seymour. That is 38 of 48 teams, Pete, that have already unofficially clinched for the CIC playoffs. And there are a few games on Tuesday, and it's going to get worse and worse until the end. By the Thanksgiving, it might be only like a handful of playoff spots to be had, making all these games practically meaningless other than seeding, which is just disappointing.
So can I go spend Thanksgiving with my family?
Yeah, pretty much.
They would love
there's not going to be a lot of winning it, those winning in those do or die games. There's not a lot of them this year. Teams, even the teams that are in that situation right now, we're sitting here on a Monday morning, they could know. Like, for example, Cheshire could know whether it's in or out before it even kicks off against Southington. As it is now, they need to win to get in. But if Shelton loses to Xavier on Tuesday night, or if New Milford loses to New Fairfield on Tuesday night, it might not even get to that. Cheshire could be like, oh, we don't have to really win. The pressure's off, which I'm sure a lot of these coaches like, but but for fans and for people who like this stuff, maybe not so much. So like we said, Double L is all set. Greenwich and West Haven have clinched home games. Greenwich plays Staples, and if Staples can beat Greenwich, they'll get a home game. Southington with a win over Cheshire, they'll also get a home game. There's a possibility if Southington loses or Staples loses, the other teams can move up. Handle winning the Green Bowl. Trumbull knocking off St. Joseph, they can certainly move up. Fairfield Prep, if it beats West Haven, will certainly move up. Right now, West Haven's sitting in that 2-7 spot with Fairfield Prep, which means if they beat them and it stays this way, they might wind up playing Fairfield Prep at their place in just 7 days, which I'm sure both coaches would love. And then you also have Glastonbury. So there's not much room for Glastonbury to move up in this group. In Class L, what we're looking at now is New Milford, Darien, and Cheshire. They all need to win to get in. The only way Shelton can get in there, they're the only one that has a shot, was if they beat Xavier and one of those teams to lose. We could know by Tuesday night, as I mentioned. If New Milford loses, then Shelton, Darien, and Cheshire very well could get in. And Cheshire still got to win that game because there's a chance maybe it doesn't get in with a loss. But it's not likely, especially if New Milford loses and it's matched up with Cheshire. So that's basically it. Cheshire, Darien, and New Milford win to get in. Shelton needs to beat Xavier on Tuesday night and have one of those teams lose to get in. In Class Double M, Windsor did everybody who's fighting for a spot here a huge favor by losing to Bloomfield on Saturday. Now they're kind of trying to hope that Platt loses to Maloney in the Stoddard Bowl. That way, then you're going to have a pretty, a big fight for number 8 here between Guilford, which has got to beat Hand to get into the position, which it hasn't done since 2006. Then there's Wilton, which is laying in wait, hoping enough points go their way to maybe snatch that last spot. Otherwise, Masuk win and get in over Newtown, North Haven over Amity, win and get in. Even with a loss, Masuk is still going to be pretty close. If Platt loses, they're going to be out. And again, it will open the door for maybe Guilford if they could beat Hand, or Wilton. I had Wilton guys asking me what the score of the Bloomfield game was of that on Saturday. So they're definitely paying it. It'd be crazy if they got in, Wilton, after not getting in last year. Class M, it's basically a race right now. Hartford Public, if it beats Weaver, will get in. Brantford, if it beats the East Haven, pretty much could get in, although East Lyme and maybe even Woodstock, if Woodstock beats Killingly, would put itself right in the mix. Lyman Hall is kind of a long shot there, but East Lyme's got to beat Waterford. It's just going to be coming down to a bonus point battle. If Hartford Public loses to Weaver, which probably won't happen, it's kind of a mess. But one of those teams, Hartford Public, Brantford, East Lyme, or Woodstock, could get in. If Brantford beats East Haven, which it should, although that game has been a big spoiler game, Brantford at 5-5, Pete, will get in. Which is just, imagine, remember John Lamone last year, we're just trying to figure it out whether he was going to get in with 2 losses. Now it's 5, he can get in. So, hey.
Insane.
Survive in advance, right? You just do what you got to do, and then, if they give you a playoff spot, you go with it. In Class SS, right now, this is where the crazy happened. So Rocky Hill got the forfeit from Hartford Public for use of ineligible player. Rocky Hill catapulted from 11 all the way to number 7, over Valley, over Ellington, over Gilbert, and now they're sitting in a sweet spot. If they beat Cromwell Portland on Wednesday night in the Shunpike Showdown, they will definitely get in. Then you have a fight, Gilbert, Valley, and Ellington. Gilbert, by beating St. Paul, will get in. And then Valley, if it beats HK, it's going to need one of these teams to lose ahead of it to get in. It could be maybe Barlow, maybe Ledyard, which those 2 schools still need to win to get in, but they're only bonus points away, really, at this point. So Valley is looking at one of these teams has got to lose. Gilbert to St. Paul, Rocky Hill to Cromwell Portland. I think that's the one, Valley. Really, Valley wants that one. If Cromwell Portland, their buddies, can come through for them, they would also bring Valley into the fold as a playoff participant, which would be, if they beat HK tomorrow night or a Tuesday night, they'll be in great position. But now they just got to get that one more team ahead of them to lose. They would prefer it's Cromwell Portland over Rocky Hill. Ellington is going to need Valley and Rocky Hill to lose and to beat Rockville. So it's very dire right now for the Knights, which are 7-2. If they beat Rockville and someone doesn't lose ahead of them, they're going to be out at 8-2. So
can't see it, but I'm shaking my head.
Yeah. It's pretty messy. Foreign is going to get the top seed with a victory over Law, Cromwell, Portland, and Wyndham. I think Wyndham's already has a home game, but then the rest of it is Barlow. Barlow, if it doesn't beat Weston, maybe it doesn't deserve to go. It'd be 7-3, but they need to win that game over Weston. Ledyard needs to beat Fitch. Ledyard will be sweating if it doesn't, but as long as somebody below them loses, they'll be okay. But the big one is Rocky Hill really mucking. I mean, it's not their fault. I mean, as Rich Dance said, look, sorry, we're not sorry. And Class S, it really just comes down to HK. Everything, it's all just seeding. Ansonia's already got the number 1 seed. No shock there. Holy Cross has got a home game. Bloomfield's close. The winner of Woodland Seymour could get in position for a home game. You also have New Fairfield over New Milford, which would catapult it up to the top. HK, if it wins, beats Valley Regional, it will get in here. And failing that, though, if they lose, they go 6-4. North Brantford wins. They did lose to HK, North Brantford. We will forget that. If it's a 2-way tie between them in points, remember it's points that decide it, then HK would get over. But if North Brantford can somehow get in more points than HK, they would get in over HK. And I'm sure HK would be thrilled if that happened in Class S. So there you go, Pete. Those are that's your playoff situation. Sorry if it's kind of all over the place, but only 10 spots remaining, and a couple wacky divisions here, but and I don't know. Good luck, everybody. Just
it sucks because you tell your team win the games ahead of you, and if you're HK and you won the games ahead of you, including a team that you beat, and they get in over you. It's ridiculous.
It's like that Shelton NFA syndrome. Remember back in 2019? Wait, they finished the same record? And Shelton beat NFA, but the points went in NFA's favor. Like Shelton's like, wait a minute, did we beat NFA? That's why you see these strengths of schedule points come into play. Al Carbone successfully lobbied them because he's, that's his thing. He lobbied them to get the points change, and they did. Yeah. So, and that's good for all the alliance teams. The Valley thing is not, the Valley situation is not an alliance thing, by the way. It's not like, you were in the alliance.
It's a Pequot, not in the alliance thing.
No, it's not, because all those teams that they're trying to fight for sport, they're all not in the alliance. It's just their schedule just didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe if they played, 6 SEC teams, maybe they'd be. Anyway, that does it for the points, Pete. So, take it away. Let's start picking games here.
All right, we're going to jump into the picks. We got 20 to pick this week. Just quickly, shout out to you, Barker, and Brecklin. You guys all went 10-0 last week.
Wow.
The big game was, you didn't get my email last night? The big game was the Bloomfield-Windsor game. Those who picked Bloomfield, I'm sorry, it was you, Boley, Barker, Brecklin, and Stewart all went 10-0. You all picked Bloomfield. Myself, Fornabayo, Morelli, and McNamee went 9-1. We all picked Windsor. So that was kind of the big difference of flipping people. Scott went 7-3, and the 8-ball went 5-5. All right, so into Thanksgiving we go. Boley and Fornabayo are tied for first at 79-31. McNamee Stewart tied in third, 78-32. Morelli in fourth at 75-35. Myself and the boss man, Sean Barker, tied after that with 74 right. Brecklin, 72 right. Erickson, 64 right. And the 8-ball, 55 right.
All right.
All right, you ready? Let's get
a
weird.
Regular season champ, but first of all, you got the trophy for this, didn't you?
I did get the trophy. Would you like to see it?
Let's show this on the live action version.
Look at the trophy. It's so ugly. It's so ugly. I love it. I want to win it so bad, but I know I'm not going to. But no, the regular season champ is good. It's so ugly. But the regular season champ, the only benefit of being the regular season champ is it's the tiebreaker if you tie for the win in the playoffs.
Oh, all right.
That's what I came up with. Yes, exactly. So
try not to take.
You've got to hold on.
I'm trying not to.
Not too many risks. Too many risks in Thanksgiving, but we know that these Thanksgiving games could get crazy. So we're going to run down the list. There are 20 games to pick. They are in order of date and time. This is how I did it, so I could keep it sane. Because I was like, what order am I going to put 20 games in? So I just did it like Tuesday games are going to be first, then Wednesday games by time, then Thursday games by time. So 10 a.m., then 10:30, whatever. All right, you ready? We're going to start. We were just talking about this team. We have the Principals Cup. We got Valley Regional Old Line, which is, I believe, 8-1 now.
Yes.
They're going to HK, who is 6-3. This game's always great. In 2018, I covered this game. It was win and get in for either team. HK won and went to the playoffs and then ended up going to the Class S championship game. They lost to Bloomfield. That was the year Valley Regional lost. They went 7-2 and missed the playoffs because Naugatuck dropped their program a month before the season, and Valley Regional couldn't find a 10th game. And that cost Valley Regional a playoff spot because I believe any points they would have gotten from a 10th game would have gotten them in the playoffs. So they were home. They were home during the playoffs. Anyway, Sean, we just talked about this game. Is it Valley or is it HK?
Let me just quickly shout out HK. They were 1-2 to start the season. They lost to Morgan 23-30 or 30-23, and they got smoked by Cromwell Portland 35-0. Since then, they have won 5 out of their last 6 games. Their only loss was 34-9 to SMSA. Just a great job by the guys at HK. Tyler Wilcox and the guys who've done an amazing job.
Tyler's done a great job.
Calendar, we had another calendar there picking things up. They've done what they've needed to do to get to this spot. It's at their home field, but which can be tough. I mean, I'm sure they're still growing the grass over there at HK. But I'm gonna go with Valley Regional Line, Pete. I feel like D'Angelo Jean-Pierre is one of the best players in the league, if not the state. Jacob Rand those guys have been just great all season. Their only one loss was one to that classic to Cromwell Portland. With this development in the playoffs, I think they step up their game. Lots of pressure, but I think they step up the game in those. We're going with Valley Regional.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Valley Regional too. I just think that they're a much better team, and I think that they get into the playoffs. But I could be wrong. Again, this is Thanksgiving. All right, we're going to go to the second game. It's an SWC matchup. 8-1 Newtown at 7-2 Masuk. This game last year came down to the final seconds. Masuk hit a game-winning field goal to beat Newtown. There's dudes all over this field. Newtown, obviously, we talked about Dylan Magazoo all year. Andrew Seibert, Caleb Smith. 3 really good seniors for Newtown. Then on the other side, Masuk, Dylan Jackson, Jason Champagne, the Walker twins, the wide receivers from Masuk. Ryan Fideli has come on of late for the Panthers. There's talent all over this field, and I don't think picking either of these teams is that crazy because I think they're both really good. I'm going to go with Masuk. I like the Panthers this year a lot. I think they're just so talented offensively that I think if they can get up ahead of Newtown, I think it would be harder for the Nighthawks to come back in this game. But again, it's Thanksgiving, so who the hell knows?
Pete, I'm going to go with Masuk too. Jason Champagne, Dylan Jackson, those guys have just been great. This game's always crazy, like you mentioned, like Masuk last time out. Every time that you think that the other team's going to have a slam dunk win, the other team shows up and wins. So by picking Masuk, I'm sure Newtown now is going to get fired up and they're going to win this game. But Masuk needs a win to get in a way here, and I think they're just going to be ready. They haven't played a big game in a while. All their schedule was front loaded, and so was Newtown's in a way. Newtown hasn't lost since week 1. I saw him week 1, and then I haven't seen them since. They haven't lost since, so maybe it's good if I don't show up at Benedict Field or Newtown might lose. But anyway, I like Masuk in this spot. I'm just gonna I just feel like this is
I mean, it's Thanksgiving. It's all about feel.
Yeah.
All right, another Wednesday night game. This one for the SEC Championship. We got 9-0 West Haven going to Rafferty to play the 6-3 Jesuits. Now, Fairfield Prep, rough start to the year. They really rallied. 6-3. This is a good Fairfield Prep team.
Yeah.
I saw them against North Haven a week ago or 2 weeks ago now.
They're 6-0 in Division 1.
Yeah,
SEC Tier 1.
And that's a hard division. In West Haven, obviously 9-0. They're the SEC Tier 2 champs, coming off the win against Hamden. I saw both these teams the same week. I saw Prep on Thursday, West Haven on Saturday. They got dudes, Prep, Tyler Smith, Ryan Prisolino, I think his name is. He's a really good baseball player too. For Prep, Wally Wachowski. We know the Wachowski family are friends of the program, so shout out to Wally and Coach Keith Helstern. Just does such a great job. And I have to shout out my Thomas Bros. They were giving me crap last Thursday. They're like, whoa, you're giving shout outs to everyone. What about your SCSU guys? They got to give a shout out to my Thomas Bros. They're doing. It's great to see that Prep has really gotten better as the year has gone on. A lot of new faces, and then West Haven. Armani Reed. Nick Conlon, who I don't think we've talked about enough about how talented he is and how poised he looked as a sophomore in that game for West Haven. Obviously, Rich Boucher, is going through, he's fighting and the team is really rallied around that. There's a lot of, interesting elements of this game, but I've learned my lesson this year, Sean. I have learned my lesson. And I am not going to pick against West Haven. I'm going to go with the Westies. I think they're going to go to 10-0. The number 1 team in the state for a reason. I vote them number 1, so I have to pick West Haven. And I'm afraid not to pick West Haven.
Pete, I'm going to go with Fairfield Prep here.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to make the first big, statement
Flash?
pick. I debated it. Not a lot of risks. I don't need to take a lot of risks, but I feel like 6-0 in the SEC Tier 1 is not nothing.
No.
I mean, they're 0-1 versus Hamden in the SEC Tier 2. So, that was a game that could have gone either way if, Fairfield Prep played a little more defense. I think the defense has definitely picked it up.
Yep.
West Haven's speed is going to be a problem for Fairfield Prep, but ball control, I mean, who's going to be the quarterback? That's kind of up in the air because Smith was kind of hobbling around in that last game. It's been a couple weeks. We don't know. But Fairfield Prep could start I guess they have a sophomore in there, but
hopefully he gets a New Jersey number.
Yeah. What is he?
He was wearing number 35. He was a freshman. He was wearing number 35, and I said to Keith Hellstern, I have the clip. I don't know why I never posted it, but I was like, Coach, we got to get him a new number. And he's like, what? You don't like... It's like watching Doug Flutie.
Yeah, it's even worse than Doug Flutie. But, we could see him. I mean, who knows? It's a risky pick, yeah. But at their place, with their defense, which has been great, special teams has been great, too. I think West Haven needs kind of a little bit of dose reality going in the playoffs here. We could see these teams in the next week, too. So I think you're going to see a lot of conservatism here. I'm going to see a lot of people kind of holding their cards close to their vest, not wanting to give away too much. That's what you get when you play these games. You have 6 divisions, and you have a very good chance of meeting these teams in the state playoffs right after Thanksgiving, which is just the worst. So I see this. I don't know. Maybe who knows? I'm going to go with Fairfield Prep here. Defense, I think, is just going to pull this one out. We'll see what happens in the playoffs.
All right, we're going to go on to the Candlewood Cup. 72 New Fairfield going to New Milford to play the 6-3 Green Wave. Green Wave coming off a huge win against Joel Barlow 2 weeks ago. New Fairfield coming off the loss against Newtown in the pouring rain. I was there for, they're an SSS school going up against Newtown, and New Fairfield fought. They were in that game. Justin McCormick, man, what a talent. What an absolute talent this kid is. He threw the ball well in the torrential downpouring rain, but is just such a great athlete, can run the ball, can move the ball. And then on the other side, you have Darnell Bronson, who has really catapulted himself to the conversation of one of the best players, in the area. He's only a sophomore in 2 years when it's all said and done. I can't imagine what the ceiling is for him. And it's great to see Sean Murray. We talked about Sean Murray last year when New Milford was good with Reese Vanek at quarterback, and we're like, oh, Sean Murray, former Bunnell quarterback, and we did all that stuff last year on them. But now they're here, and this is a really good game. Candlewood Cup. I love the name of this game. I'm going to go first on this one. Again, I'm just going to continue going first. I'm going with New Fairfield. I just was really impressed with the way that they played against Newtown, who's a much bigger roster, bigger school, and I love watching Justin McCormick play. I really do. He's so much fun to watch. Anytime he has the ball in his hands, he can go the distance. So I'm going to go to New Fairfield. Go with the Rebels.
Yeah, Pete, I feel like there's been some massive momentum from New Milford, and I'm going to go with the Green Wave.
You're going to ride the Green Wave?
I'm going to ride the wave. It's at Joe Weiser Stadium. Murray's been, every time we say, all right, Milford, step up and play and win a game, guess what? They have. That Barlow win was no joke, and that remember, Barlow beat the crap out of New Fairfield. Now, it's a different matchup in this case. New Fairfield is a little more to New Fairfield's liking, defending against, typical type of a passing team. But there's lots of athletes on New Milford, and this could be one of the best Candlewood Cups in recent memory. I know New Fairfield kind of owns it, at least recently. They own it 11-3 the last 14 years. But I'm going to go with New Milford here. I think it's finally time for them to shine. Murray to kind of make his mark here as a really good coach. We know that. But now it's time to get into the consciousness of the rest of the state. I'm going with Green Wave.
All right. Then we got another one. You were at this game last year. It was a wild one. Went to, I believe, 1 or 2 overtimes. Got Greenwich at Staples. Both teams come in 8-1. Greenwich, former number 1 team in the state. Only loss is to Southington. 29-28, and Staples lost to St. Joe's, I believe, week 2. Greenwich, we talked about their dudes, right? Jack Wilson, Dom DeLuca, Galetta, Insignia, Consberg. We can just go on and on about the guys that Greenwich has. And then on the other side at Staples, obviously, the Staples quarterback Caleb Smith, another Caleb Smith, is playing really well. Then you got the wideouts. I mean, Tyler Clark is putting up record numbers at Staples. James Hillhouse is, he's their wide receiver too, but he's a wide receiver 1. I mean, he can ball out too. Michael Nealon leading the defense at linebacker. I mean, Staples has guys too. I'm falling in love with Staples as the year goes on. Like I've been voting them in my top 10. I think what Coach Adam Behrens is doing is great at Staples. They're back in contention. That's good for high school football. I'm torn on this one, so I'm gonna pass the buck to you and let you go first.
Oh, thanks a lot, Pete. I'm gonna go with Greenwich. I just think overall the more complete team. I'm a little worried by Staples in that Ridgefield game with without a quarterback. That was tough. 14 to 11. It only won by 3, scaring everybody, including myself.
Yeah.
Put Staples into the playoffs a little prematurely, but I like Greenwich in this spot. I just think it's a more complete team. I've been voting up on top near the number 1, but yeah, look out for Staples. They're really good. This is going to be another one of those Class double L games where everyone's going to be holding them close to their vest, because this could be a semifinal game if the things break the way that they, it's
potentially
not
could
out of the realm of possibility for sure, or it could be on the other side. We'll see, but a lot of these double L games, man, they're just, we can see it next week. So I'm almost like, well, what's the point of playing next week?
Yeah, I think this might be it's like the MVP voting in like sports. It's like, oh, do we want to pick LeBron James again as the MVP of the NBA? Fatigue. And like Staples is kind of like the new kids on the block, but I'm not going to fall for the fatigue. I'm going to go with Greenwich. I agree with you. I think they are the more complete team. The couple of times I've seen them this year, I've been very impressed. Even in the Southington game, when they're rolling, they look really, really good. They just have to keep that up for 60 minutes, and I know that they've done a better job at doing that. The Trumbull game is one to note. Trumbull scored in the second half, and instead of laying down, Greenwich came right back. So I'm going to go with them. We are going to roll a little quicker.
Before we roll on, you picked Staples in this draft of the Thanksgiving.
Oh, I was just filling those out. I got to go in and actually pick them.
Hedging your bets,
right.
Okay.
Yes, hedging my bets. No, I have to fix those. All right, we're going to move quickly because we got a lot more to go. We don't want to keep you here the whole time, and we have other things that we have to get done. We're going to go up to the ECC for Ledyard Sword. Ledyard 8-1 at Fitch, who's 5-4. I'm going to go quickly. I'm going to go with Ledyard. The win against Wyndham is really stands out to me because I think Wyndham is the best team in the ECC by beating killingly. Ledyard thumped them. I mean, Wyndham scored late in that game to make it somewhat close, but I'm all in on James Green, and Mike DeMauro from the Day did a really fun story on the quarterback Jackson Polter. He's like 5'7", so we have Kyle Valentine from Maloney, who's the best 5'6" quarterback in the state, and we have Jackson Polter, who's the best 5'7" quarterback in the state. But it's a really good story. You should go check it out. But I'm going to go with Ledyard.
I really want to pick Fitch in this spot, but I'm going to go with Ledyard. I'm going to go conservative here. James Green is a great player, and after what they did to Wyndham a few weeks ago, that's no joke there. So I'm going to go with the Colonels to keep the sword, but that's going to be a tough game. Fitch may be out of the running, but that's always tough. A tough game.
Absolutely.
It's not their place too.
All right, we're going to stay up in the ECC for New London at NFA. New London's 2-7. NFA is 3-6. It's the 159th meeting between the two schools, which was really a long time ago. That's just what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to go with NFA. I think NFA has gotten better as the year's gone on. Credit really to Eric Larka and his coaching staff. This team, I believe, might have been 0-5 at one point, and they've really rallied here. They beat Ledyard, and I think Coach Larka's got them going in the right direction. They're going to end the season on a high note with a win over New London.
Yeah, I'm going to go with NFA here too. I mean, there's not a lot I know about these teams. I do know New London's lost or been really close against some pretty, not so good teams, and which I don't know what they're really bringing. It's been tough for both of them, but I think, like you just said, NFA's been playing better down the stretch. I'm going with the Wildcats.
All right, coming back down to Fairfield County, we have the Turkey Bowl.
One of
New
two
Canaan,
Turkey Bowls.
8-1,
Barlow West
yes.
calls itself the Turkey Bowl too.
And Weaver Hartford Public calls it the Turkey Day game, which I learned. But we got New Canaan. They're 8-1. They're going to Darien to play the 6-3 Blue Wave. Darien's kind of really turned their season around after a really tough start. They were my most disappointed team at the midseason report. They have shut me up. They're playing really well. This game's always really interesting because the underdog, the favorite, doesn't always win. New Canaan has won 4 in a row in this series. And because I've seen both teams this year, I'm going to go with New Canaan. I think they are the heavy favorite in this game, which means I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to go with New Canaan.
Darien hasn't won this game since Drew Pine was a Freshman.
2016.
2016.
And it took overtime to beat him.
Finlay Collins. Yeah, they were up big, Darien, in that game in 2016. And then, he led them back and got it tied. And then in overtime, he threw the pick off to Finlay Collins. Just an absolute epic game. Yeah, we have highlights of that on our YouTube page. Go check that out. But I'm going to, you know what? I'm going with Darien here. I think they're due. They're due to win in this game. They're due to upset the apple cart a little bit. Canaan, again, offensively, just kind of an enigma at this point. And Darien showed up against Greenwich. Darien is sick and tired of everybody telling them that they haven't won anything yet. They haven't done anything. They stink. They this, they that. They're not going anywhere. They have a chance to go to the state playoffs here. And I know they are anxious to finally beat New Canaan. And it's at their field, in front of their fans, going to the state playoffs on a high and show everybody that Darien football ain't going anywhere. I'm going with the Blue Wave.
I'm not confident in my pick right now. You really pumped me up. All right. I'm going to stick with New Canaan, though. All right, we're going to go to the NBL for one of the best Thanksgiving games.
Pete, I traded my Fitch pick. I said, you know what? I'm going to head here. I'm going to go pick Fitch. I'll pick Ledyard because I think Fitch can win that game. But I picked Ledyard because it's a safe one, and then so I can set up my Darien pick.
All right. We are running down the backstretch of this. We got Ansonia, Naugatuck. This game is great. Naugatuck won last year. It was the first Ansonia loss in the NVL in what feels like a very long time. I don't know the exact number. Ansonia comes in 9-0, led by Cassetti, Kaminsky, Preston, who I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name. He's a stud. Malachi Ingram is awesome. And then Naugatuck, they're getting healthy, right? Diedelbaum is our dude. Caden Martin is awesome. Jet Hall is back. Just a lunch pail player.
Yeah.
But we got this one. This one's always a great one. I'm gonna go with Naugatuck. I think Naugatuck is healthy. I think with a full Jet Hall, I think Naugatuck beats Holy Cross, and this is 9-0. Ansonia struggled against Holy Cross as well. When I saw it, I'm just going to go with Naugatuck. I think the Greyhounds win this for the second year in a row.
There's one thing I've learned covering football in Connecticut for the better part of 20 years, 2 decades, is that you never bet against Ansonia. Even when you know they might be down, you just can't ever bet against Ansonia. 9 times out of 10, you're going to win that bet if you bet with Ansonia. If you bet against them, he's just going to burn you every time. Last year, I got burned by picking Seymour, which, this year they showed up a little bit at least. Last year they didn't show up at all, and Ansonia gave me the business. I'd be hearing it from Eddie Lego and all those guys if I don't pick Ansonia here. It's at Naugatuck. I'm going with the Chargers, though. It's after last year they lost on their own field. Guarantee you that the Chargers coaching staff won't let their kids forget it. I'm going with Cassetti and the Chargers over Naugatuck. They're going to get back the NVL title.
All right. Next up, we're going down to Stratford for the Manning E. Harvey Trophy.
Joe Morelli Memorial Trophy.
Bunnell is 5-4, and they got Stratford, who's 3-6. Last year, Stratford won this game.
Yeah.
And Joe Morelli was the only person to pick Stratford. This year, Joe Morelli, not to show picks, but Joe Morelli picked against his alma mater. He picked Bunnell. Michael Travelli, I have it on the capsules. I think he's like 160 yards away from reaching 2,000. He is a fun player to watch. And then over at Stratford, Tristan Pena, he's just a really good overall, all-around athlete for Stratford. You think Bunnell is not happy at the way things went last year, brick by brick tie. And because of that, I'm going with Bunnell. I'm going with Trovarelli and his quest for 2K.
I say Trovarelli
way invested in that.
Trovarelli gets his 2K. I see Bunnell beating Stratford in this game. They just had the better overall season. I know it's kind of a toss-up whenever these teams play, but I just think they've shown me a lot more, and they have one of the best backs in the state.
I agree. All right, we're going to go down to Bridgeport for the 100th meeting of Harding and Bridgeport Central. Both teams are 0-9. Quickly, side note, go to GameTimeCT.com and read the amazing story that Chris Ellsbury did on the history of this game. It was so well done, so in-depth. Talked to a lot of former players, former coaches. There's a lot of great nuggets in there about the history of that game. It's 100. Look, both teams are 0-9, but the game still means something, and it means a lot to that city and to those schools. I'm going to go with Bridgeport Central. Tommy, You got this one. All right, man. Kellenberg, St. John the Baptist. I have that belief in you. I'm going with Central.
Yeah, this is a tough call for me, man. I remember going to Hedges Stadium in the old Harding High School campus, that grass mud field in 2004. That was my first introduction to this game. You know, they had the DJ up there, but I forget it. I don't remember his name, but he was playing like, 1970s, like, Curtis Mayfield stuff up in the press box. It was awesome. Before every down, it was great in lieu of a band. I miss those days, and even then, Harding had a team. They had the bus, Byron Jackson. Back then, they almost upset playoff-bound Bridgeport Central in that game. Those were the glory days, and it wasn't that long ago, and it's just hard to see these teams both 0-9. I'm going to go with Harding. This game is just going to be wild. There's unpredictable. I'm just going to go with Harding just to go with Harding. And it's at Kennedy Stadium, but I just think, I don't know. There's no reason. I'm just going to go with Harding here. Harding has had the better of Central throughout this series. So
yes,
with the exception of the glory days of Central with the Catalina years, but I'm going to go with Harding.
All right, we got, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 9 left. We got to run through them because we are on a time constraint. So next up, we got the Apple Valley Classic. Southington's 8-1 going to Cheshire. They are 6-3. I'm going to go with Southington in this game. Lincoln Cardillo might be my favorite player to cover in this state. I think he is just an absolute beast. Just a great hard-nosed football player. DeBenedetto, Williams, they got dudes. I'm going with Southington. Sean?
Cheshire hasn't won this game since 2011. That is one long run of dominance, and New Canaan, and Southington has been one of the state's best teams. If Jeffries can get room to maneuver, I mean, he's not really playing quarterback much, but if they can try and get him out in space, and maybe he can make some plays. I mean, he's amazing. But I would say Cheshire will get a shot. The rest of the team's got to step up, though, around him. I don't know. I love Cardillo, too. I'm going with Blue Knights.
All right. We're going to go to the Turkey Day game. It's back after a 6-year hiatus. I believe this is the 92nd meeting between these two schools. Weaver, in their first varsity season as an individual team in 6 years, they're 2-3. Hartford Public, what's their record now? I wrote this, and then so many things changed. They're 5-4 now. So many things changed when I wrote this out. Hartford Public with the chance of the playoff spot on the line. I really want to pick Weaver because I'm so happy that they're back, but I can't. I'm going to pick Hartford Public, and I think Hartford Public goes to the playoffs. Sean?
Yeah, that was a big win over New Britain, and New Britain's not like, New Britain of the Jack Cochran era, but certainly it's still a big school with a lot of good athletes. Good game by them. After a crazy day that Hartford Public had, winning on a forfeit to Northwest Catholic, then losing a forfeit to Rocky Hill, then coming back that night and beating New Britain. That was a really big moment there. I say they win and get in, and that's it. Hartford Public.
All right. We're going to go to the Battle of the Bell in Bristol at Muzzy Field. Bristol Eastern 3-6 going up against Bristol Central Week. That is 1-8. This game last year, we had Alex Marshall versus Victor Rosa in this game. This year, not so much. Bristol Central's obviously rebuilding after, a generational talent in Victor Rosa, who's killing it at UConn. I'm going to go with Bristol Eastern in this game. I like the Lancers. I saw them against Berlin. I kind of liked what they were doing. Berlin was just a better team, but I'm going to go with the Lancers.
This is always an amazing matchup, Pete, the Battle of the Bell, and they're going to go into this one with a heavy heart because it's still fresh in everybody's mind up at Bristol. The two police officers who were shot. Sergeant Del Monte and Officer Hamzy, in that just awful disturbance, which was just down the street from ESPN, and then you saw the communities getting together and putting out their blue lights for the fallen officers, and obviously we wish their families nothing but just our love and hopes for the future, getting through this just difficult time. And the game should be kind of more of a celebration of those communities up there. But as far as the game goes, I'm going to go with Bristol Eastern. They're kind of doing this game, and I think they've just had the better season overall. But it should be a kind of a bittersweet moment up there at Muzzy Field.
Absolutely. Okay. So you're going with Bristol Eastern as well. All right, going to the Stoddard Bowl, one of my favorite Thanksgiving games. Maloney 8-1 for at Platt 6-3, but they're playing at Falcon Field, but they're both play their home games. This stand's going to be split green and blue and gold. Lot on the line in this game, especially for Platt. Win and they're in, loss and you pray. Sean, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. I'm still mulling over my pick.
Luckily for you, I've already made my pick. I'm going to go with Maloney. I did see Platt. I think Platt is really talented. But Maloney's still kind of with that bittersweet taste in their mouth of losing the #1 trophy to Glastonbury, who's turned out to be pretty good. They're really coming on Glastonbury. They wrapped up their regular season beating just the crap out of Simsbury. Yeah, it was like 53-10 or 56, something crazy. So they're going in the double L's on a high. But as far as this game is concerned, I'm going to go with Maloney. I think they've gotten they've got a little dose of reality, and I think they're going to get back to business in this one. I mean, it could go either way. This game's always crazy. They only lead the all-time series by the all-time Thanksgiving series by 2, and I think 3 overall. So should be really fun. I mean, it's probably one of the best games of the day.
Yeah,
Here we go.
My mind is saying to pick Maloney. Yeah, I think Maloney's really good, but I think I'm gonna go with Platt because one, I love the chaos. I think this game I think this game's even on Thanksgiving, no matter what, and I think it might rally the Maloney guys. I know are gonna be thrilled about this pick, but I'm gonna go with Platt. I got a weird feeling.
Wait a second. Is this a mole pick for Maloney's sake?
No.
Are they saying Pete pick against us so we have some more motivation?
No, that's St. Joe's.
No,
I'm here for the chaos. So I'm going to go with Platt.
I don't think Jason Bruin wants you to pick it. I think he wants you to pick Maloney.
No, he's stuck with me. I'm picking Platt.
All right.
Going down to my town. We got the Rumble and Trumbull. 7-2, the Trumbull Golden Eagles. They're going to St. Joe's to play the Hogs, who are 8-1. I'm sticking with what I've done all season, and I'm going to pick Trumbull.
Your boys.
My boys. I pay taxes here now.
That's right. Now you're biased.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with St. Joe. I have no reason not to go with St. Joe here. They've had the toughest schedule in the state, bar none. Nobody's had anything like St. Joe has played. Despite all that, they have persevered, and a couple things go their way. Maybe they kind of show up a little bit better. In the first half, they could be undefeated at this point. Trouble's been an enigma. Just when I'm ready to believe in them, they lose a tough game. I'm going with the Hogs. I see no reason otherwise. They're both going to the playoffs, so it's no big thing. But I'm going to go with the Hogs here.
Yeah, St. Joe's was really good. They always yell at me whenever I'm there. Why don't you pick us? I'm like, well, you guys always win when I don't. So the one time I might be right, though. This game, I'm very much so looking forward to seeing the result of that. All right, we're going to the Elm City Bowl in New Haven. We got Wilbercross, they're 3-2, playing against Hill House, who is also 3-2. It'll be the final game for Hill House coach Reggie Lytle, who is stepping down at the end of the season. Another game with a lot of history. Means a lot to the city and the players who play in it. Emotions will be high that day because it is Reggie's last game. I imagine there will be a lot of alum in attendance, a lot of former players, and the kids know what they're playing for. I'm going to go with Hill House.
I'm going to go with Wilbercross, Pete. I'm just a feeling. I'm going with the Govs. They're going to spoil Reggie's last. It could be like 12-6, I think, at final. Write that one down, 12-6 final or something crazy like that. But, I'm going with the Govs.
All right. We got 3 more. We got the Mayor's Cup in Milford. This game is awesome. Foreign is 9-0, led by Jack Cushman and Joe Gaetano, tuba player. What up? Coach Tom Drew's done a great job. The Lions are 9-0. They're going to Law. Law's 8-1. John Nider, Matt Haggerty, Coach Hanley has done obviously a really good job with this program. They were good last year. They really took off this year. They do have a loss to Guilford. Foreign was handily beating Guilford, let Guilford right back in the game, and Foreign was able to hold off Guilford to win that game by 1. So this is going to be a really close matchup. I'm going to go with foreign, strictly because Joe Gaetano plays the tuba.
Yeah.
And I played the tuba. That's my thought process.
All right.
Sean, who do you got?
This is the best overall record these two teams have taken into this matchup. It's usually, like we've mentioned, 2-7 versus 3-6. It's something like everyone kind of. It's fun for Milford. They love it. They love this game, and now it's massive. Only the unfortunate part is that it's there's no playoffs really involved, other than they're both in the playoffs for the first time together. So that's great. So the pressure's a little off. Everyone's going to have a little bit of fun. Maybe that'll make for a better game. Not like that 2017 game where the Law needed to win to get in, to crash the party there. I think Foreign might have needed to win to get in too, but none of that. It's just going to be all for good old-fashioned bragging rights. If Foreign goes on and win a state championship and Law beats him here, they'll never hear the end of it, right? And vice versa. I mean, if that happens. So, but in that case, I'm going to go with Foreign here. I say they again, I'm amazed. I went to their preseason scrimmage against Cromwell, Portland, and Killingly, and I spent 2 seconds looking over Foreign. I'm like, and I walked away. And look at this. They're 10-0. Who knew?
9-0. 9-0. Don't jump ahead.
On the verge of being 10-0. Who knew?
Yeah, Law is going to cut that clip and just keep playing it.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Lions, though. I say they complete the unbeaten season, get that home game, and can they win a Class SS playoff championship? We shall see. But I say they win the Battle of Milford.
All right, we're going down to now the Battle of Wallington, the Carini Bowl. Lyman Hall 4-5, Sheen 4-5. Sheen has dominated this series in recent memory. Sheen teams were much better than they are, this year. Both teams come in at 4-5. Both teams have played two completely different schedules to get here at 4-5. I think the Titans stay true, and the Titans extend their win streak in this series. Never bet against Ferrazzi.
I'm going with Sheen. As much as I'd like to see Lyman Hall maybe snap the streak here, I just don't see it. Sheen's played a much tougher schedule than Lyman Hall. I'm going with the Titans.
All right, the last game we got is the Green Bowl. 8-1 Hamden versus Notre Dame West Haven, which is 6-3. Hamden won this game last year for the first time in a while. Hamden will wear green in this game for the first time in a very long time. The game is at Joe Bruno Field, Joe Bruno Stadium in Hamden, where the game is always held. But Hamden will get to wear the home green for the first time in a long time. I know my boys, Colin and Matt McDonough, are going to be very happy about that. They tweet about this game all the time. But two really good teams, two teams that are going to the playoffs. Hamden coming off the loss against West Haven. I don't know what to do with this game. Like in recent years, it was easy. You just picked Notre Dame because they had won so many in a row. Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, if I pick Notre Dame, am I crazy? But I'm like,
are they going to come
Hamden? Hamden, yeah. I was like, Hamden's having a really good year. I was really impressed with the way that Hamden played against West Haven last week. So I'm going to go with Hamden. I'm going to go with the Green Dragons. 2 in a row.
Who'd have thought? By the way, Bloomfield's after you. You got West Haven after you. I know you made mea culpas with Unger there, but last week. But Bloomfield now after you. They're like, he never believes in us, and we showed him. They were not only shouting out Coach Mo, who died this just week 3, right before they lost to Berlin. Their head basketball coach. They're shouting him out, and then they were like, Pete, you have forsaken us. We showed you, Pete.
Well, I'll get to pick them in the playoffs. So We'll see. We'll see if I can rectify that.
I'm going to go with Hamden here too. I can't believe I'm saying it. They're going to win 2 in a row in the Green Bowl. But this is going to be just a great battle. The only problem is I wish there was more at stake other than playoff seeding. And that's jerseys. Again, that is really the problem with these 6 divisions now. Everybody gets in, and then we leave us with Thanksgiving games that are all just for who's going to play who in the state
pomp
playoffs.
And circumstance.
If that's their goal is to kind of devalue Thanksgiving so they can get rid of it. You know what? I see you guys. I see it. All right, this is a great, unique thing for Connecticut, and I think there's still a way we can play Thanksgiving Day games in this meaningful Thanksgiving Day games in this state without starting our playoffs at the end of October or beginning of November. I think we can do it. You know, if you guys really want to have the courage, you can do it. But if you want to just throw teams in the playoffs, you know, Notre Dame getting in, it's whatever. They could have gotten in at 5-5. But anyway, that said, I'm going to go with Hamden here. The Green Jackets will be great. We'll see if Cam can play. Tom Dyer, I saw him last week. He said it was just an elbow dislocation, and he could be good to go for the playoffs, which is great to hear. It looked like his arm snapped in two when I watched the film. But so that'd be good, great to hear. We'll see. I mean, obviously that's still a hard injury, but I love their speed and I love their attitude. This is a really good Hamden team. You know, we'll see what happens. I mean, Notre Dame has been very good too, and I think everyone's kind of overlooking them. I should say my Class M champion, Notre Dame Green Knights. But we'll see what happens here. I'm going.
All right. That's it. That's our Thanksgiving picks. That's our Thanksgiving preview. We will see you out on the field Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be back early next week, maybe late next week, for the playoff preview. The playoffs starting on Tuesday. So I'm Pete Pagwaga for Sean Patrick Foley. We'll see you out there.
This has been the Meat Grinder at GameTimeCT. Bye.
Love you all.